Right, at the moment with us, that was nice from Mr. Mukesh Gandhi.
Yes, yes.
At the moment with us, Mr. B.N. Kumar, uh, now environment activist, former journalist, but there's nothing like a former journalist. Everybody's a journalist. Once a journalist, always a journalist.
Always one.
Yes, and one of the best known names in PR in the entire country, and at the moment a man in a hurry, Mr. B.N. Kumar. B.N. Kumar साहब नमस्कार.
नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू.
गुड इवनिंग. B.N. कुमार साहब, आपको बता दूं कि हमारे मित्र प्रदीप नंबियार जी का आज जन्मदिन है. प्रदीप जी का बर्थडे है.
हैप्पी बर्थडे प्रदीप.
Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar.
वेरी गुड.
So B.N. Kumar साहब, what happened?
My birthday is next Sunday.
Your birthday is next Sunday. Wow. So we'll have a special show for you only on your birthday.
Okay.
B.N. Kumar साहब, so what happened? So what happened with regard to the fact that the so-called order which has come, which has completely ignored the mangrove intertidal zone, the fact that this area was supposed to be a mangrove zone and it was supposed to be returned to the forest department and so on and so forth. What is going on here? Could you tell us that, B.N. Kumar sir?
It's very unfortunate that the Maharashtra Coastal Management Authority MCZMA इससे पहले का मीटिंग में उन्होंने एक ऑर्डर दिया था कि there should be no construction in the CRZ area. The construction should be limited to only non-CRZ, which means out of the 40,000 square meters that has been allotted for the Tirupati temple, only on 11,000 square meter it should be allowed. So in between, what happened was that they have taken shelter under, they means the Silco, TTD and even MCZMA, they have taken shelter under the center's newly approved coastal zone management plan. उसमें उन्होंने थोड़ा बहुत कंसेशंस दिया. उसमें कहा कि up to 50 meter from the buffer zone, beyond 50 meter you can start construction. You just leave 50 meter instead of 100 meter. They between 50 meter. This law has been there earlier, but they formalized, see a coastal zone management plan. But what the interpretation that SIPO and TDP, TTD, not TDP, TTD and MCZMA have come together now to show the whole plan in such a way that the CRZ2 has been, amalgamated with the non-CRZ, so that area increases to about 29,000 square meters. So in the new clearance that MCZMA has given, the CRZ1 has been reduced to some 2,000 odd square meters. CRZ2 is some 7,000. Baki 29,000-30,000 is CRZ, outside CRZ. And one interesting aspect here is that all this data they have been saying partly in CRZ1, partly in CRZ2, partly out of CRZ. So partly they have been mentioning. So exact area कितना बनता है क्या नहीं है उसके ऊपर कोई clarity नहीं है. Number one. Number two, how they drew this CRZ2 what you call line from original CRZ1, that also we do not know. It's very ambiguous. And third most important part, of course, first one is it was part of the casting yard that you said earlier. The third most important part is that through the plot, the line cuts across, front hazard line cuts through the plot. So that aspect also they have ignored. It's very unfortunate.
And the other thing that you mentioned was that the district collector of Panvel Taluka has said that there are 35 wetlands in this taluka, that is Panvel Taluka, but the temple area, that by the way, that is the TTD that Mr. B.N. Kumar is mentioning, that is the Tirupati Devasthanam, that is not one of them. How? Is there a problem?
Yeah, I mean,
is somebody disturbing
the problem is
somebody disturbing you on that side?
No.
Who's it?
No, there is some. This is a cafe. Somebody having a chat. I told them it's okay. They're cooperating. No issues. So yeah, it's very.
How did that come about? How did this thing, which is part of the mangrove intertidal zone, and everybody knows it, it has been registered as such. How is it that it does not find place in the 35 wetlands identified by the district collector? Sir.
No, in fact, here there is a big lacuna, as we were discussing earlier. These wetlands have been identified by the satellite map with ISRO.
Yes.
But ISRO map is very unclear. It only shows some kind of blue lines here and there. You and I can't read what is the wetland, what is the wetland. But they have come to conclusion on a figure saying 2.25 lakh wetlands have been identified. See, these are the wetlands which are the water bodies outside the sea. But we were talking about a Samundar ka area, which is the intertidal wetland. This is the water comes and water goes. So this need not be declared as a wetland. If collector and tahsildar say this is not a wetland, tomorrow they will say Arabian Sea is also not a wetland.
So the MCZMA has
I mean,
passed a very ambiguous order. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, very ambiguous, very disturbing, and it's illogical.
Gee.
Because we have been screaming from the rooftops, and then we already moved NGT. NGT has given them the notice to come and reply to whether there is any construction going on or not, which means they are aware of the issues before the NGT.
No,
That
B.N. Kumarji,
ought to have considered.
B.N.
We also
Kumarji,
informed them.
the basic question that we are coming to, that this was a casting yard
Yeah.
which had to be returned by SIDCO. Now,
Correct.
casting yard which has to be returned by SIDCO to either the forest department or whichever department. Now that part of the casting yard has been given to Balaji temple. Now the point is,
Not all of it. Only part of it. Gee.
yeah, part of it has been given. So this actually is not authorized to be given at all. It is ab initio, the entire thing is wrong. It is totally wrong. I mean, just because you had a
Yeah.
possession for some
Yes.
years, how can you give it, authorize somebody else to construct a permanent construction on that? Now the whole thing, the very basis on which the entire thing is fact is based is totally wrong. The possession of the property, the authority giving that particular land to Balaji temple, and Balaji temple buying it, everything seems to be wrong ab initio, right at the instance, at the initial stages itself. Now how are we coming to some conclusion whether wetland or not wetland? You have to return the land, why don't you return the land?
True. In fact, there is another development. SIDCO itself has admitted that this was a casting yard area from which they have taken for the temple, and it was a given to MMRDA on the lease. This fact now has been reconfirmed in the High Court appointed Mangrove Committee meeting that was held recently. I just got the minutes. In those minutes, based on our complaint, the High Court appointed Mangrove Committee, Mangrove Protection and Conservation Committee, has asked SIDCO to respond, and they have also asked the district collector, the tahsildar, to investigate, look into the entire area, to say what kind of mangrove destruction has taken place. So SIDCO has replied saying, yes, it was a casting land area from which we gave partly, as RKB mentioned, about 40,000 square meters, 40 acres.
But how can they do that? As Pradeep asked you, how can they do that?
No,
They are supposed to return it next year on 12 January 24. They are supposed to return it to, I think, the forest department, who are the original holders.
No, but here also they have hidden the key fact that it was a flourishing biodiversity area before casting yard came in. Casting yard was only temporary. It ought to have been restored. That key fact they have hidden even from the High Court appointed Mangrove Committee.
But B.N. Kumar Saab, what Pradeep ji is asking is the most fundamental question in law. The whole thing, ab initio, proceeds from a completely and totally illegal act. Land which does not belong to one entity, that is SIDCO,
Correct.
has been given for construction of a temple to another entity. So how is that possible? I still don't understand this. Rightfully, all the directors of SIDCO who have signed on this ought to be in jail. How can you parcel of land, sublease it, lease it, rent it out, or sell it, which does not belong to you? B.N. Kumar sir.
Correct. You can't even touch it. See, this is in fact SIDCO here has been an habitual offender, I must say, because of late, for the past say 5-6 years, they have been leasing out all kinds of areas for infrastructure in the name of infrastructure and real estate development. I am right now sitting in Ghansoli. In Ghansoli area in Mumbai, there have been plots which cut into CRZ1 and CRZ2. वो पूरा plot area दिखाते हैं. Suppose it is a 10,000 square meter area. Of which will be 2,000 could be in CRZ2, 1,000 maybe in CRZ1. But they don't take money for 7,000. They take money for entire 10,000 square meter, which means they are selling something they do not own. which is patently wrong. And even in the case of, I'll tell you a very interesting incident, RKB and Pradeep, to our viewers also. CIRCO has given some plot to Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation for its super specialty hospital and college hostel, etc. Just behind the NMMC headquarters. That area also partly cuts into CRZ2, partly into CRZ1. They have allotted, CIRCO has allotted Bindas. So now, of course, they will not be charging that kind of money that they charge to builders to NMMC. But to NMMC, they said you pay GST. So NMMC commissioner at that time, Abhijit Bangar, wrote to them saying, why do we have to pay GST on a land which we are not going to use? And that's where I asked Mr. Bangar also, not only you are not going to use, it's not your land, it's not my land, it's not CIRCO's land. It's a public property, it has to be left, it's the nature's property.
Yes.
Something you don't own, you lease out, you take GST on it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
B.N. Kumar Saab, just one thing, yes. One second, one question, very, very fundamental question. B.N. Kumar Saab, Pradeep ji. Both of you are journalists, alright? B.N. Kumar Saab may like to deny it, but he's actually a journalist. Inside he's a journalist, let's be very clear. He might call himself an environment activist, PR expert, etc., but inside he's a journalist and will always be. Yes. Sir, ये काम जो अभी सिडको कर रहा है, मैं चाहूंगा आप हिंदी में जवाब दें या मराठी में जवाब दें. अरे ये काम तो दाऊद इब्राहिम के लोग करते थे. अपनी प्रॉपर्टी नहीं है, बिल्डिंग किसी और की है, कौन है, क्या है, अंदर घुस गए और उसको आगे बेच दिया किसी को. सिडको क्या दाऊद इब्राहिम की कंपनी है? पूछ रहा हूं सर आपसे, B.N. कुमार साहब.
बिल्कुल, एक्चुअली
behaving like gangsters.
It's kind of land grab. They are behaving like landlords. They are behaving like land sharks in fact.
Yes.
सर ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है. This is only, ये तो एक, it's a tip of an iceberg. What we are talking about will be in this NMMC hospital. In Uran area, the entire NMMC, the entire JNPT has been given a lands areas of mangroves and wetlands for JNPA, SEZ again there. And JNPA has, Nandakumar Paul also must have told you, has submitted a report, EA report to Central Environment Ministry to obtain EC. In the column take declaration में उन्होंने कहा है कि mangroves to be cut nil. We will not be touching any mangroves. Wetland to be any reclamation to happen nil. And what is actually happening is totally to the contrary. I have pictures of the area where they have been dumping tons of sand and muddy dumpers on mangroves and on wetlands, and they are reclaiming. Permanent reclamation they have done, and they are leasing it out now. They recently sold some 15 to 20 plots.
15 or 20 plots of land, Pradeep ji, which does not belong to them.
I want to just come back to this. Yeah. The mystery is not yet over. We want to really understand the mystery. Now, this 19 hectares of land, MMRDA was supposed to give it back to CIDCO on 12/1/2024. Yes. Correct? Exactly. And CIDCO was supposed to give it back to the forest department or something? Because this is a fishing. This is mangroves fishing zone wetland area, which on which MMRDA built the casting yard, and the casting yard had to be dismantled, created back, in a proper way as they are taking it back, as and when they are taking it, and hand over this plot to CIDCO, and CIDCO was probably to give it back to the forest department. Is it so, B.N. Kumar ji?
Correct.
Now, instead of giving this plot back to 19 acres of land, 19 hectares of land back to forest department, CIDCO, out of 19 hectares, 10 acres, they give it to treat this Tirumala temple. And Tirumala temple is constructing 2.5, 1/4 of the temple use they are doing it. Now, the entire thing here is an issue. This land is actually a forest department, that means forest department, and they were supposed to take possession of that. And now CIDCO sold it. So is this point being argued there?
In fact, this is the point that we have taken up with NGT also. What we told them that it is not a land, it was a sea. Mangroves is no land, they don't sea. They covered all the mangrove. They should have removed all the landfill and restored the water flow. Mangrove would grow on their own.
Exactly.
They should have restored totally integrated water flow. Mangrove would have grown, and remove the landfill, restored the mudflats, so that it would have been useful for the birds to come, for the crabs and fish to breed. even the Mudflat is also totally undisturbable. It's a CSR1 area. That in fact this this board you can see now, it is all part of the biodiversity ecology.
So now what happens?
So
now are you challenging the very fact that CIDCO has illegally, which is not their land at all, has been given
Yes.
to the
Yes.
temple trust, and they are supposed to return this 19 hectares back to forest department,
correct.
and
Correct.
get this back. The entire casting yard should be back to mangroves, fishing zone, wetlands,
Yes.
to the same position.
Correct.
So instead of
Yes.
that, they are concretization, not even returning it.
Yes. Correct. And what is also disturbing is that this legal process is in process now. NGT के सामने से पूरा केस पड़ा हुआ है, इन लोग अपना काम करते जा रहे हैं, which is again shocking. They should wait for another couple of months, wait for NGT decision. Why is such a hurry?
But that is possibly because NGT has not given a stay. They haven't stayed the entire process.
They have not given stay. Yes.
Possibly because of that. But don't you think perhaps the High Court should be asked to intervene, or the Supreme Court be asked to intervene and find out about all the illegal activities of CIDCO that you have outlined over there? Because CIDCO and JNPT, they seem to be the villains of the piece who have destroyed the ecology of the region. Mr. B.N. Kumar.
There is before going to Supreme Court and High Court, when you go to High Court or Supreme Court, first thing they will ask you is, have you exhausted all your available channels of justice? So High Court would ask you to go to NGT. So which is why we go to NGT.
Now, if NGT continues to delay and they do not give you a decision, say for the next couple of years, and by that time the Balaji temple will come up.
No, we have another avenue, which is the High Court appointed Mangrove Committee,
Right.
which is also equally powerful. They have all the powers on the earth to handle to check the destruction of mangroves. So this committee is all powerful. So this committee meets once a week, once a month. So in fact, this latest thing that we are talking about, CIDCO inquiry, district collector inquiry, has come up only after our complaint to this Mangrove Committee. So people like Stalin, Devi Goenka, they are all members there. We'll keep raising our noise there. In fact, I have written today to all the members of this committee. There are about 25 members. To all of them, I have written separately, saying this is the situation. The key fact that it was an originally biodiversity zone. Casting yard was only temporary. There is documentary evidence available to that effect. There are Google maps available to that effect. I have studied in the pictures. I have shown them the CNMP map which shows the flood hazard zone cutting through the the plot. All that things are pointed to them. So hopefully the next hearing, 29th, I think the hearing is due.
I hope that happens.
Now, are we challenging the ownership of this land? Ownership of this land of Tirumala temple? Are we challenging it? How they are in possession? Is it ownership, whatever lease which they have been given? Are we challenging that?
Yes, we are challenging the very basis of the allotment. The allotment itself is patently wrong. Whether CIDCO has charged the money or not, giving them at 1 rupee nominal this thing, the total allotment process is patently wrong. That's what we are
Rightfully
saying.
speaking, B.N. Kumar Sahab, there should be an FIR registered against CIDCO for land fraud. Let's be very clear.
Good point. Here the only thing is under the Environment Act, because this is the destruction of mangroves, etc., and destruction of wetlands is involved. The complaining authority is the Environment Department.
But
So
B.N.
Department
Kumar
Act.
Sahab, B.N. Kumar
We're
Sahab,
off-
एक minute, sir.
Privately we can't do that.
Sir, last question, one final question. ये तो बात की बात है.
जी जी.
This is part 2. What we are asking, Pradeep ji and I, what we are asking is, when the initial act itself is patently so illegal, they should be arrested under the Gangster Act. What are they doing? अरे जमीन तुम्हारी नहीं है भाई और उसको तुम बेच रहे हो लोगों को कि जैसे तुम्हारी हो.
बिल्कुल, you have no bloody right there. You have no right.
So why don't we challenge that?
No, it has come to that. So whatever action has to be taken, so that's what we are asking the Mangrove Committee now. Please take some soonest possible action. They have all the powers. In fact, Mangrove Committee can also write to High Court directly, saying this is what is happening, these are the violations taking place. They can ask High Court to intervene. And I don't have to challenge and I don't have to go and find a petition there.
I hope you
The
succeed.
committee has all the powers.
BNK, I hope you succeed. We
Hopefully,
are all with you.
we are
Always will
struggling
be
now.
with
Let's
you.
see. Let's all together fight for it.
Right, absolutely. This concerns all of us. Thank you very much, Mr. B. Kumar. So nice of you for appearing on the show. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Namaskar.
Namaskar, Jai Sri Ram. Right, and at the moment with us.